Hi everyone. So this first video on the IRB application at New Mexico State University through the Maestro system for DNP project is going to focus on just the kind of top components in the application. So after you've gone to the Maestro review system IRB website and logged on using your Aggie ID and your password, you're going to end up on, there we are, you're going to end up on a site like this, and this is just the login site. Where you're going to go first is under My Apps, and most of you won't have an application at this point. And so if you go down this list here, you can see there's an option for an IRB new application to use human subjects in research. And we will click on that. And it'll bring you to an empty page like this. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and show you an application that I've started for another project. It's similar to a DNP project, and then we'll kind of walk you through the first steps of this. Okay. So if you're coming back into your application after having saved it and worked on it, logged out, and you're coming back in, you would go under My Apps, and then you would click on the name of your project. And so this is the one that we're going to look at. This is the evaluation of a protocol to reduce the use of post-surgical opioids. And this is a project that I'm doing with a hospital. So this here is a general application form, and so a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's a couple sections of it that I want to make sure you clearly understand. So you are going to copy and paste the title of your DNP project into the application title. Under application summary, this is a little bit of an abstract, so that whoever's reviewing this application to make sure that you're meeting all the human subjects components of this or requirements has some context. So I would recommend copying and pasting your problem statement, your purpose, meaning your goals and then objectives as well too, and give a little bit of background. And then you should also, this should be in more of a narrative format. You should bring in, a few sentences about your intervention, your system change. The other wording that you can use here too is start with something like, this is a quality improvement project, or this is an evidence-based intervention project. You use the term project, try to avoid the term research, study, and things like that. And again, that just, again, is more in line with the DNP project, and we're trying to help the IRB understand that these aren't research studies, these are more implementation and evaluation projects. So this will end up being a little bit of a summary. This could be a summary that you might use to then go give to the hospital or the clinic that you're trying to work with, or anybody else who needs an abstract or a short summary of the project. And so make sure it's more than a couple sentences. It really should be, state the problem briefly, talk about what you're going to be doing, what type of project this is, QI, EVP, program evaluation. Then state your overall objectives, and that should suffice. This submit date will pre-populate, same with the approval and expiration date. You are going to type in your name. You are the PI. PI stands for Principal Investigator, and that is you, the student. They know that you're a student because that's linked in to your Aggie ID and all of that stuff. You're gonna, if it doesn't come up automatically, you're going to put in your email address. And use your official email address. You can put in your phone number. Usually they don't usually call you. I don't know if it's required. I don't think it is. And then in terms of your department, put School of Nursing. As you come down to project information, the project ID is automatically generated, and all of these things are again automatically generated, so we'll leave them alone for now. The next important part is the submission team assignment. And so the first thing that you're going to do is assign yourself as a team member. So I am going to just add myself again. Here we are. actually, I'm going to add somebody else, someone who I know is a student. Here we are. So this is one of our DNP students. And so if this was Joy's IRB application, she would come in here and she would put herself in. This is where the lingo gets a little bit odd. We would put you in as a co-PI. And again, PI is principal investigator. Co means that, you know, there's a possibility of having more than one investigator involved. And so again, the lingo on this particular IRB site is a little odd, but you would just put yourself, because there's no other good term, you'd put yourself as the co-PI. Then you would, let's see, so I'm trying to think. I think it's Dr. Lynch, who is her advisor. So you're going to type in your advisor's name, your chair, the chair of your committee, and you can do two things. You can put faculty advisor, or you can put co-PI and faculty advisor. Any one of these will work. So we'll just put faculty advisor, add them to the team. You're also going to add your other committee members. They want to have anybody who's going to be involved in looking at data, anyone who's going to be on a publication, you would want them under the team assignment. And so you put the other two committee members. You don't need to put your dean's rep. And then lastly, you are going to put me, Alexa Doig, as the department head. And you can see that right here. And it automatically saves every once in a while. So you're going to type in my name and then add me, and you'll put me as the department head. And that is my official title. And what happens is once you submit your IRB application, your advisor will sign off on it, and then it gets sent to me. So it's an electronic signing approval. It gets sent to me, and then I review it. And I review it to make sure that all the components there, that it makes sense to me as a new reader. And then if I approve it, I send it on. I hit submit, and it gets sent on to the IRB for them to review it. And if I think there need to be some updates, then I'll send you an email with, and I'll CC your chair and your advisor, and then try to give you some idea of what needs to be fixed or added. And then you'll also get an email from the IRB, because what has to happen, I have to reject it, and then it'll go back to you for changes, and then you start over again. You go back into it. Everything will be there, and you just make the changes and then resubmit it. Your chair will approve it again, then it'll come to me again, and then hopefully I will be able to approve it and move it forward. Once it goes out of my docket to the IRB, there's going to be the staff members who are going to review it fairly briefly and make a determination of what level of review it's going to require. And they may have some changes that they see off the bat, so it may go back to you. At that point, it'll just go back and forth between you and the IRB. Generally, I won't see it again unless there's some major changes down the road. And so just make sure your entire team member's there. Then what you have to do is you then have to add the human subjects research training, which we sometimes call, we have city training. They are an agency out of Vanderbilt who have these human subjects research training. This is also known as responsible conduct of research training. And so you're going to go in, you're going to type your own name. So if this was Joy's application, she would go in, and we should be able to find, for some reason she's not coming up. Let's find mine then. Oh, I know what's here happened. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to delete mine. Here we are. So you actually don't even have to type in the people's. I think it was just a little bit slow on the take. All you're going to do is come in here, click on the box, just give it a second, and then it's going to pull up everybody that you entered above. It's going to pull up their city trainings, their different types of IRB type training, responsible conduct of research training here. So we would add Dr. Lynch is certificate. Let's see who else is there. And we only need one certificate per person. So I don't think we need, and here's Joy. She would be adding her own certificate. And then just make sure that the person, that it's current. it won't actually turn up if it's expired. If anyone does not show up in the list, it means that their responsible conduct of research, their IRB training is maybe out of date. And so then you have to contact them if it's a committee member and say, you know, I can't find your city training. Is it up to date? If not, you know, I'll have to have that before I submit this. So I am going to go ahead. I'm going to stop that right here. We are going to have a couple more sections in these videos, and but this is kind of the overview and the introduction to the IRB application that you will have to submit in order to move forward with your DNP project. And then just one last thing about the IRB application. You cannot submit your IRB application until after you have defended your DNP project proposal and passed it, and passed what we call that whole comprehensive exam. And so, however, you can go in and as you're getting your proposal ready to defend, you can copy and paste things from your PowerPoint or any paper that you've written in here, and you can get it ready to go. I've had some students hit send or submit the day after or right after their proposal defense. And so, of course, if you have any changes that the committee wants you to make, then those will have to be updated in the IRB application. But you can prepare the IRB application before you have defended, you just can't submit it. We won't let it go forward until your committee agrees on what you're going to be doing. So I will see you in part 2.